Well, hey, happy Saturday. I rent this home and I'm about to pull this piece of pipe here out. It's got holes all down through it. It's galvanized. Galvanized pipe does rust through and it does leak. And you can see the leak issue that's been happening quite a long time. So, I'm taking care of this for the landlord. I'm not doing it for free, but I'm certainly doing it at a better rate than a plumbing company would do. I am a journeyman plumber. I am not licensed in the state of Oregon right now. However, I could plumb a hospital. This is a 2-inch drain line, which is appropriate for a kitchen sink. However, as you look over here, there's a big old trap in it. It's got a big old swoop. So a little later on in the, you can see the water does not go uphill. This is all gravity self-scouring piping. The pipes are hung, supposed to be hung at a 1/4 inch of grade per foot. So every foot it moves forward or downhill, it should be going downhill at a 1/4 inch. This is not doing it. And we have plenty of grade here to be able to accomplish that. There is a door that this pipe is kind of blocking. So I'm very limited with what I can do here to make sure that this door opens correctly, but it will open that far. So I will strap this up using appropriate plumber's tape, and the asbestos insulated pipes here in the home. Yeah. So be very careful about that. I have a water bottle and I'll shoot those down and get them wet so those fibers don't get on me. Yeah. A little project ahead of me today. I haven't plumbed for a while. We'll see if I still got it. Part of the deal with plumbing is having the right tool. You want to cut a piece of ABS pipe. I'd probably cut 1,000,000 feet of this stuff. You don't have to work too hard to do it. You gotta have the glue, Oh, I forgot my channel locks. I've made more money with a pair of channel locks than any tool ever. I'll be right back. Yeah, so I'm not a super strong dude, so the greatest tool in the world, or one of them. So you got to use ABS glue with ABS pipe. And what I did there was cut a close piece, meaning this piece is 1.5 inches long. No, I didn't measure it, but what this does, you got to have the right fittings for the job. And I needed a 45-degree angle, and they didn't have one at the hardware store. Apparently they were sold out, so I bought two 22.5-degree angles, and I am building a 45 out of two 22.5. That's just basic math. 22.5 plus 22.5 equals 45, right? Doesn't matter if it's an angle or number, like money, like 22.5 cents plus 22.5 cents equals 45 cents. And 22.5 degrees plus 22.5 degrees equals 45 degrees. Boom. Just like that. And it actually makes this 45-degree angle a bit longer, which is actually good for the flow and the self-scouring properties of ABS pipe. Hey, you learned something today. So I'm cutting a piece of ABS pipe that's 7.5 inches long. I need it for a strap. See what I'm doing here? Oh wait, let me show you. If you're cutting ABS pipe, it's harder to get these cutters off. Put your tape measure on it. Take your cutter. Been a while. I'm a little rusty. And cut your piece exactly 7.5 inches long. You don't want to crank on the cutters. Just take your time. Each turn, give it a little bit of cinch with the handle. And boom. Now I have a 7.5 inch piece of pipe. Exactly 7.5 inches long. Boom. There you go. So here's a little trick for strapping pipe. Use a piece of 1.5 ABS. Cut it to the length that you need for the height of the pipe to be at the correct height, so that you have slope from one strap to the next at 1/4 inch per foot. And boom, there you go. We had 6.5 inches at this beam is 6.5 inches. So I had that distance downhill that I had to travel from about 20 feet away. And I have strapped this pipe every 4 feet. Boom, 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 and then up to my kitchen sink drain. Yeah, so when you're strapping pipe, get some plumber's tape, run it through the 1.5 pipe and screw it to a joist, and your pipe will be strapped so that it is solid and it has proper grade. At 1/4 inch per foot. These are more like 18 inches on center. So I had to make up for the distance in calculating about a 4.5 foot distance between this strap and that one there behind the extension cord tag. So, you know, made this pipe actually a little bit higher here in the basement, so we have a little more headroom. Yeah, it's all improving. Plumbers. Yeah, peace. Alright, so welcome to the underside of my kitchen sink, where I'm going to be putting a new P-trap on here, a new trap arm off that T, and then an Autovent. This thing is a spring-loaded vent. If you, under your sink, have a 90 right here and no vent going up to allow air to enter the piping system, ultimately what you have is basically, if you take your big finger and plug a straw, what happens to the water in it? It doesn't fall out, right? You've got to have a vent so that you have equal air pressure, so that the water, when it flows through the pipe down the drain, it has atmospheric pressure inside there, so that allows that water to flow freely. Without a vent on a kitchen sink or a bathroom sink or something, other devices, even toilets, your drain is not going to work correctly. So I am installing what's known as an Autovent, and this will allow air to enter the trap or enter the drain pipe, and the water will flow freely as it's supposed to. Yay, look at that. When you're redoing your kitchen sink drain, don't put a 90 right there. If you're replumbing it with ABS pipe, go ahead and get yourself a Autovent. And what you want to do is install this up as close to the bottom of the countertop. Mine, of course, will be way back there. But I've cut a piece of pipe that will push this right up to the bottom of the sink. That way, if the sink ever backs up, the water won't be flowing out of the vent. Yeah, smart. See, water seeks its own level. People seem to don't understand that. Water does not go uphill. It won't flow uphill. It's a basic concept of physics. I'll have this all put together here in a few minutes. Well, here's my old dirty kitchen sink. It's been dirty for a week or so now. Just taken me this long to get to it. Here is the P-trap and the vent that goes up to the bottom of the countertop, sloped downhill from this point all the way down to where it enters the sewer line in our home here. And really proud of this one. Let's see if it drains now. Because this morning, if I turned my kitchen sink faucet on, the water would back up into the sink literally after having it on for just a few seconds. Look at that. Like a boss. Yeah. Now what I will do is use a plunger to get the majority of the water out of this. But at this point, nothing's leaking in my basement, so we won't be waiting around in sewage down there. We'll have to get that blockage. There's probably a big old long section of pipe that is completely plugged solid with what is known as a soft plug, meaning that pipe that it was down in the basement, it was graded incorrectly, meaning the water was trying to flow uphill, which created a trap for the water. And over time, that sewage, grease, just stuff from washing your dishes, dish soap, blah, 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 all those solids build up and they create a soft plug. Got to get that removed. Here we go. I just wanted to share another plumbing rule with you. If you're working with ABS glue, you have to get some on your fingers. There's no two ways about it. You have to get ABS glue. ABS stands for acrylonitrile butadiene styrene. That's for all you people who didn't know. Acrylonitrile butadiene styrene. It's easier to say ABS. There you go. Alright, so what we have going on here is a garden hose. It's a garden hose hooked up to our garden faucet. And at the end of that garden hose is a balloon that allows the water pressure to blow up the balloon and fill that pipe and plug that pipe. And then the pressure that escapes that balloon out the opposite end pushes any kind of soft plug or material that's plugging the pipe in my basement and gets rid of the blockage. And I'm going to let this run for, I don't know, 5 or so minutes. So that's doing that, and what I can do is walk down here to the basement. Look at this staircase, isn't it awesome? And I've added another strap on this pipe going here. I can hear, this is the end of the drain pipe where it runs into our main sewer here in the building. I can hear it draining. And I can knock on this pipe and tell that it is not full of water. Which earlier in the day, this thing was completely solid full. It sounded like a piece of plastic full of water. So that's what it sounds like now. So I think the plug is gone. Alright, so after all of that, boom, look at that. It's just draining like a champ. Now I gotta clean this. My sink is a mess right now, but here's the Autovent, boom, with the little spring-loaded, and this will go in this, oh, hang on here, trying to do this with one hand is not easy. Right up to the top of the counter, and easier said than done. There we go. And it's glued together. When you glue acrylonitrile butadiene styrene together, give it a little twist, 1/8 of a turn or so, and that'll make that plastic glue up. There you go. Problem solved. Alright, just for the record, this is what I used to remove the what I call a soft plug. The end of this allows water to pass through it, and the water pressure builds up in this balloon, fills the pipe, plugs the pipe, so the water only goes the direction or downstream. If you own a home, get one of these. You should absolutely own one of these. This will service an 1.5-inch pipe up to a 3-inch pipe. Get one. They're cool. And you'll notice I'm not wearing gloves. I don't get sick very often because I get exposed to a lot of shit that my body is allowed to make antibodies for, and so I just don't get sick that often. But you know, there's always that element of society that use antibiotic soap all day long, every day for 20 years. Look at how often they're sick. Get one of those. They're very cheap and they will save your ass, and they can save you hundreds of dollars in plumbing fees if you use that correctly. Right on. Peace, y'all. The kitchen sink is done.